How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on? How you feeling?
How you doing, man? Good to have you on the show, man.
Good to be on the show, Rob.
Man, I
Chief,
appreciate it. That's right. I appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you feeling?
Good, man. Good, good, good. So, of course, I got what you. If people don't know, I know Johnny Boy's dad. I've known him since we were 0 years old,
Yeah, you
and
said y'all played ball together.
oh man, and you might not know this, and I'm gonna take credit for you for this particular thing. I think I gave your father the nickname JG.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think when we were kids, like 7, 8 years old, I think I was the first one to call him JG. So I told him I'm gonna keep that on record till the day we die. So I think I firmly believe I was the one that gave him that nickname.
Okay. Some
Yeah,
people call
man,
me JG too, so
my man. That's right.
yeah.
That's right. So people that don't know, tell them where you from, man.
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Mhm,
Grew up in East Baltimore. Also lived in I live in all different type parts of Baltimore. But
mhm,
got a lot of family out Turner Station as well, Dundalk.
mhm, mhm.
Um, I represent home.
I hear you. What got you into want to become a comedian, man?
What got me into wanting to become a comedian was basically growing up. I was kind of like the goofy one, the class clown, always
Right.
cracking jokes,
Mhm,
always seen the fun in everything, whether it was good or bad. So
mhm.
basically, I was like, how can I use this gift that I got, making people laugh and turn it into
Right.
something lucrative and turn it into a talent. So
Mhm,
when I started going to Morgan, I just tried to get on stage. I signed up for a random event. I didn't know how big the event was. The event probably was about
mhm.
800, 900 people, which I wasn't expecting because I've never been on stage before.
Mhm.
And I didn't think they were gonna call my name because my name was so far down the list. I'm like, I'm not even gonna have to get on stage. Like,
Right.
but they wound up calling me up. I was second
Mhm.
because it was a lot of people dancing and rapping, doing the same thing. They seen
Right.
comedian on the list. They like, we're gonna bring you up. And I went up and I just started cracking on people, roasting people in the crowd. I got a standing ovation after that. I'm like, yeah, this for me.
Man, what was your nerves like when you did that for the first time?
Man, I was scared. When they called my name, I was telling all my boys, like, yeah, I'm ready to perform.
Right.
They like, John, you're not ready to perform. Like, I'm like, they
Right.
like, this is a big event. You ain't never been on stage. I'm like, I'm
Right.
not even thinking I'm going to perform because my name is like number 40. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
So they was like, no, you going up next. And I'm like, oh my goodness, my heart dropped. I'm like, this gonna either
Yeah.
make me or break me.
Right. And you wound up coming in second place, or
It wasn't an actual like they didn't have like a actual place. You just
yeah.
performed. It was like
Yeah.
just a whole talent show. They ain't really do like a winner or nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool, man. So what were some of your comedic influences growing up?
Man, growing up, I love watching all types of comedians, white and black. So I was a
Mhm.
big Bernie Mac fan, watching the Bernie Mac show, watching Bernie Mac back when he was on Def Comedy Jam. So
Yeah.
my mother used to have like the VHS Def
Yes.
Comedy
Yes.
Jams. It was like a 3-pack.
Yes.
And she would tell me go upstairs when she pull that out. And I'm like, why can't I sit down here and watch this?
Right.
But I would always hear her downstairs just laughing real hard. I'm like, what is she watching down there?
Right.
So like when I finally got a chance to be in the living room, I think she might have been upstairs, or I went and popped the video in and I'm seeing Bernie Mac and Martin and they telling these jokes. And now I'm telling my friends these jokes. I'm about 7, 8. Like, you want to hear something? So
No, that's right. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I know you know you're much younger than me, but I'm gonna tell you, and a lot of people who might be watching will attest to this. When Def Comedy Jam came on, it was like, what is it? I believe it came on a Saturday night. And I'm gonna tell you, people would watch religiously on HBO, man. It was unbelievable
yeah, they
how
couldn't
they
wait for it.
oh man, it was crazy, man, how they spawned a lot of careers. I mean, that was the first time I ever seen Bernie Mac. And of course Martin it was already steaming from his, his show. But man, that was a
Yeah,
great show, man. That was a great show.
yeah. So all those comedians, I was inspired by a lot of those comedians.
Mhm,
Cat Williams,
mhm,
Mike Epps,
mhm,
um, Ricky Smiley,
mhm,
um, Earthquake, uh, D. Ray Davis, like all the
Yeah.
comedians that really
Mhm,
inspired me. They all came from different places and different
mhm.
cities. They had their own swag, their own lingo.
Yeah.
So
When was your first time getting on the actual stage, not counting Morgan, but your first time, performing at a whether it was a nightclub or whatever event? You remember your first time?
yeah, my first time performing at an actual like event, like an actual comedy show, it was
Mhm.
with a guy named Ricky Shackelford. And he
Okay.
been doing comedy for a long time. He also do comedy with a guy named Howard G. I was
Yeah,
working with
yeah,
yeah, Kiss My
I've
Bum and
heard of
Just
him.
Kiss It. Yeah, so they
Yeah,
was like
yeah, yeah.
the first guys I linked up with,
Mhm,
and they was doing these shows at a spot called Loafers in the basement.
mhm. I
And
remember loafers, man. Yeah,
yeah, man, they used to my whole family, people from my job. I was working at McDonald's. I
yeah.
used to pack it out. I used to have a lot of people come out support me.
Mhm,
So I had my mother in there, aunt, uncle, everybody in there, and I would just
mhm,
kill them every weekend, every time we do a
mhm,
show, 2 shows. And I'm like, yeah, this is the type of
mhm.
energy I was looking for because college is different because they're
Yeah.
not really real receptive. I'm not saying they're not receptive to comedy, but it's something different for them.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you that, Johnny boy. Like when you did like your first few shows, did people come up to you like after the show, giving you their input or telling you what they thought of the show, or was it all positive, or did you receive any mixed reviews during that
um,
first initial process?
the first initial, like the first show when I really
Mhm.
did real well, I got a lot of good feedback. Like, man,
Right.
this is for you. Like, you should keep doing this. We
Mhm,
gonna find you other events. We gonna support you. We gonna help
mhm.
promote you. So, but as I started doing more shows, like you say, outside of college, one of the first shows I also did around that time, like the first show I did at an actual comedy club. That was a
Okay.
comedy show, but it wasn't at a comedy club. The first show I
Right.
did at a comedy show, Baltimore Comedy Factory. My friends came to me after the show and was like, "John, you funnier than that." They
Right.
was like, "You're not really being yourself on stage.
Right.
They like you trying to be funny. You're not being
Natural.
funny naturally. You're
Right.
trying to be." And I had to kind of like that's why I went and found that spot where I can just practice and
Mhm.
just being myself and find my own rhythm, my own direction. So
Man, I can't imagine as far now. I know a lot of people say, people think they're funny, but to get on that stage, it's a different ball game. Um, as far as your relationship, do you have any friends in the relationships with comedians in the area or that you speak
yeah,
of? Okay.
yeah. I'm I like to work with everybody. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty like mutual. I don't discriminate. I work with white
Yeah.
people, black people, gay
Yeah.
people, all different
Yeah.
types of people in the comedy industry, comedy
Mhm,
world, all different colors. So I love working with the people who I started with. Like
mhm.
I started with a few brothers, Cleon the comedian. You got
Yeah.
Sir Alex, he's a poet and a comedian. You got my homeboy Snow, Bruce, like
Mhm,
all the people who I like built the foundation of comedy in Baltimore with. I love
mhm.
doing shows with them. You got Jess Hilarious, she real
Yes.
popular now.
Yeah.
That's one of
Mhm,
the people who I was doing comedy with.
mhm.
So I like to like stay in communication with everybody, always show
Yeah.
love when it's an opportunity to show love. And when we get together, we do our thing.
That dude Cleon is buck wild, man. Chief.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy. Man,
Yeah.
Cleon the first person to
Yeah.
take me out of town. Like, look, we need to
Good.
take this show on the road.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
got me to move away from Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah. He seemed like he would be that kind of guy. I kind of follow him as well. And he seems like he'd probably be a personable um kind of guy. Um as far as you going out on the road, were there any other comedians that you met on the road that a lot of people may know about or have not heard of that you think are pretty good?
Yeah, for sure. You got like you want to go down Atlanta, you got Mario Torre, like people know about him, but like
Hmm.
you really got to be going out to comedy shows and really paying
Yeah.
attention to comedy.
Yeah.
You got like Mario Torre, my guy, Food Stack from down in
Hmm.
Atlanta, Moat Williams,
Hmm.
DC. You got Rallo Boykins, Paris Sachet. Uh, you got people outside. I used to live in Houston. You got Jeff Shelley,
Hmm.
Lil T, Tadarian.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot of funny people out there on like the underground
Yeah.
comedy circuit. And a lot of them is transferring over to the internet, and they've been able to use that content and be funny online and get millions of views and stuff like that. So now they built a whole other branch.
You know what,
Funny.
Johnny? It's funny you mentioned that, man, because I was talking to some guys and we were discussing how a lot of comedians now make so much money doing their own content as opposed to years ago. You know, you did a show or whatever, but now guys can literally have their camera out on the street and make millions of dollars. I was the gentleman who was used to be with Just Hilarious, Country Wayne. We were talking about him and how he made a lot of money doing things like that. How do you feel about the lane opening up for comedians like you, which now it brings another, huge platform to allow you to make some more money?
Yeah, I feel like it's allow a lot of people to just move in their own direction and be creative the way they
Mhm,
want to be creative. So now
mhm,
it's not like you gotta just stick to one genre of being funny, which used to be really just getting on stage and or being a comedic actor in a movie or
yeah,
something like that, or having your own TV show, like you said, displaying your funny. But now you can display your funny solely upon yourself. You can be like,
mhm,
all right, I'm gonna do this little skit, or I'm gonna make my own
mhm,
little short film, or I'm gonna just continue to do these voiceovers where I'm talking about people, or you can create your own lane.
mhm,
So I think it's real lucrative. I never really been I did some skits, but I'm not the
mhm.
person that's doing skits every day, all day, talking
Right.
about everything. So
That's cool, man. Do you think about do you think that you're gonna kind of dive into that lane or that aspect of comedy in the near future, or is that something you're thinking about?
yeah, I'm thinking about I need to find my direction and what exactly I'm going to do because
Mhm.
a lot of things are already being done. So you gotta
Yeah.
try not to come in replicating somebody else. You gotta worry about, oh, he
Mhm,
copied this, and you just trying to be original as possible.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
like I used to do skits consecutively and stuff like that, different
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
videos and series and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But lately, I just been focusing on the stage and focusing on being a better actor.
Good, man. I'm glad you brought that up because um what are some of the shows or movies or kind of things that you've been in as far as your acting?
Oh, my first show I ever was in, like TV, national TV show,
Mhm.
was a show called We Own the City, um, produced by HBO.
That was
It
a
was
great
filmed.
show.
Yeah, it was
That was
filmed in
oh,
Baltimore. It was about some
yes.
real stuff. The stories was real.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a real great experience. I worked with the guy that made The Wire. He was our
Yes.
director, and he was a pleasure just to work with him and just see how he moved behind the camera, to see his
Yeah.
creativity and his direction. It was a good experience for me to be behind the camera as well as
Yeah.
being able to be in front of the camera. So
I'm gonna tell you something. That was a great series, man. And I didn't know you were on it till your dad posted you. My number one, JG, is so proud of you, man. But
yeah,
man, when he posts, I'm like, man. But that was a great. Is it still showing on HBO? Are they
yeah,
still
it's still
showing it?
streaming on
Okay.
HBO Max. Still streaming on HBO Max. I did a lot of numbers when it first came out. A
Yeah.
lot of people was
Yeah.
asking, was it going to be like a second season and stuff? But
Yeah.
it's not going to be a second season. But I work like it's a TV show that I'm about to be in that's coming out, and I got a
Okay.
short little role in there. It's called Lady in the Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It was filmed in Baltimore as well.
Okay.
So it's going to be a cool, nice show. Murder
That's
mystery type
good,
thing.
man. Really, that's good, man. It's good to see you like doing different things. And kind of paving your way. Like you said, you want to pave your own way. Now, Johnny, there were a lot of, and I got this question. I wanted to pose it to you because my friends wanted me to ask you about, it, and I said it'd be a good question. As far as being censored in the comedic world, do you feel any pressure as far as being censored in some of the things, whether it be, people nowadays they're afraid to talk about LGBTQ
Right.
race issues. Do you feel like you got any added pressure talking about those issues or having comedy about those issues?
I say what I want.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I'm speaking my mind. Like I take all the kickback. Like
That's right.
I'm gonna get up here and talk about whoever I want to talk about,
Right.
and I'm not worrying about anybody coming to me and their feelings and their emotions. Because I feel like
Right.
right now we at a time where like it's freedom of speech at its most. People
That's
speaking
right.
on things, and
Yeah.
people speak on everything.
Yeah.
You know, in Baltimore, they don't care what happened. They gonna speak
Yeah.
on it. Somebody gonna
Yeah.
make a joke about it. This going on all around the
Yeah.
world though.
Yeah. And you
So
know it's crazy, man. Like in the world times we live in, it's almost therapeutic, in my
yeah,
opinion. They have comedy, people speaking their opinion, and not necessarily opinion, but some of the thoughts that other people might think. You put it out in the comedy world. I think it's great. Like you said, some people get uptight about it, but I don't understand why.
yeah, you able to. I mean, you able to laugh at almost everything. Even like
Yeah.
people have learned literally to laugh at
Mhm,
tragic situations now. Like
mhm,
people literally is laughing at stuff that's tragedies and finding the joke and the humor in it. And
mhm,
but somewhere, some people is using that to really not be traumatized or not let
mhm.
it really mess them up emotionally or
Right.
spiritually. So that humor is really important.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. And speaking of, we talk about the human element, the integrity of comedy, and this issue now as far as stealing jokes. Have you come across that where you said something and then you go to another comedy show and somebody has said something that you've said previously?
Yeah, I definitely
What?
experienced getting my jokes stole before.
What?
I didn't heard people using my jokes, and I didn't have to tell buddies like, "Look, man, take that down. That's my joke. That's my material. Like that's my. I get paid to go on stage and say that and do that.
So
So I
Johnny,
need
that happens a lot.
that it happened. It
What?
happened. It might happen to somebody who you might be cool with, but the thing
Yeah.
is, what you got to understand is like people are who they hang around. If you ever hear that saying, and especially in
Mhm,
comedy, because like, say if you help this person start doing comedy and they constantly
mhm,
performing with you, they gonna use some of the things that you taught them, or they seen you do, or some of your transitions, or some of your body language, or your facial expressions.
mhm.
So it's definitely expected to happen. And some things you might notice, like you might say something that's real similar to somebody else.
What?
But, but I have got my
Mm,
joke stolen before. People send me,
mm.
look, this is your joke right here online. Scream me, sir, I need my joke back. Like, don't do that no more.
So all that stuff that Kat was saying last week, I guess it is true. Um,
Of course,
whew,
of course. Cat definitely telling the truth. He might
wow.
be, he might be he might be adding a little flavor to it. I'm not saying he a liar. But a lot of that stuff Cat is saying, he is not joking. And I'm gonna tell you something. Them
Right,
people know not to play with Cat.
right,
For
right,
sure.
right.
They know real people know. Now the only
Yeah,
person that's testing Cat, and he able to test Cat because he kind of
right.
from where we from, which is
Yeah,
DC,
right.
is Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, Dave
Yeah, Dave
Chappelle. Yeah,
Chappelle, like,
yeah,
yeah, pick on somebody your own size. Dave
yeah,
Chappelle,
yeah,
he like
yeah.
he
What
calling
what
them
you
out on
what
things.
you think of Dave Chappelle, man? I think he's brilliant. I think he speaks on a lot of things, much like you do. Speaks on a
Yeah.
lot of things. Speaks his mind. What do you think about him? Number one, as a comedian, and as a person who's not scared to tilt the scale a little bit, if you know what I
Yeah, I
mean.
feel like Dave is what you call just fearless
Yeah,
comedian.
yeah, yeah.
He's not scared to speak exactly his mind, how he feel. Um, he's not scared to put his perspectives out there and receive that feedback or whatever anybody have to say.
Yeah.
And that been his MO for a while. And that's what made
Mhm.
him who he was. And now he inspired a group of people to really have the
Mhm.
same outlook. Like, you know what? Like,
Mhm.
check this out. We gonna say whatever we want to. If Dave can do it and he's successful as he is, then yeah. So I met Dave, real humble guy.
Really?
Real humble. Yeah, I met Dave. He was at the Chris Rock. I was working for
Mhm.
Netflix doing a Chris Rock special, and he
Mhm.
was actually backstage. I got a chance to speak to him for a quick second. I'm like, real humble dude.
Wow, man. That's crazy. Do you as far as in the near future, are there any kind of things that you're looking to work on, or any upcoming projects you got that you feel you want to get out to the public?
Yeah, I feel like I want to do a special, like
Mhm.
have a special that's featuring me and a couple of the different comedians that I came up with. Just like a
Mhm.
well put together, well filmed, and a nice arena or theater, something like that. It ain't gotta be a big arena. It could be like a nice theater setup and just try to pitch that and see how far we can get with that. Also want to put together my own movies.
Okay.
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to start doing my own movies, telling some of my own stories and stuff. So
Where you based at now, Johnny? Are you in the East Coast or where you at now?
yeah, I'm in East Coast now.
Okay.
I'm in
Okay.
East Coast.
Man, now I know you mentioned to me that you got something coming up March 9th. You want to talk about it or?
Yeah, I'm doing an event March 9th. It's called the Fundraiser. I'm actually hosting a they're going to be fundraising, gathering money to give back to the community and put programs in the community for the undeserved people. Basically doing different giving them different outlets, whether it's like I feel like it's housing, they're doing housing, programs to fix your credit, different type of things. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing, man. And I put your Instagram in the bio on the YouTube. So if people want to follow Johnny Boy Too Funny, please go to Instagram, man. He's a great dude, man. And I told you I wasn't gonna have you on too long. I wasn't gonna hold you up too long. I appreciate you coming on. And I want to kind of
I appreciate you. I'm good here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And the thing is, I told your dad, hopefully, when you become, too famous, I don't want you to, forget about me, and so I can
man, I
keep
wouldn't
having
forget about you, man. I appreciate you, man. I like this outlet. I like having being to go have a good conversation, going to have a voice. So I appreciate you inviting me out to your platform, man. And I wish you much success. And
Absolutely, you too, man. And I'm going to have you on again before your next event.
All right,
if you don't mind, then we'll talk about it. And then whatever events you got coming up, please let me know, man. I'll do whatever I can to help you, man. Absolutely.
All right, no problem. Appreciate you, Cheese.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, brother. Yes, sir.
Myself.
All right.